Hello, my name is Aester, and this is my film Manifesto. I was born on July 15th, 1986, in New York City, New York, USA. I'm a director and writer known for Hereditary, 2018, Midsommar, 2019, and Disappointment Boulevard, 2022. I am an inspiration for many students' work, as I have the ability to take gentle situations and locations and turn them into a morbid nightmare. My work goes beyond the mind's imagination. The films I will be referring to in this manifesto is my film Hereditary, Midsommar, and The Strange Thing About the Johnsons. Hereditary is a feature film, and the synopsis is, when the matriarch of the Graham family passes away, her daughter and grandchildren begin to unravel cryptic and increasingly terrifying secrets about their ancestry, trying to outrun the sinister fate they have inherited. Midsommar is a feature film, and the synopsis is, a couple travels to northern Europe to visit a rural hometowns of fabled Swedish Midsummer Festival. What begins as an idyllic retreat quickly devolves into an increasingly violent and bizarre competition at the hands of a pagan cult. And lastly, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons is a short film, and the synopsis is a dark domestic horror drama about the ties that bind and the ties that really bind. The first tenet that I include in every one of my films is traumatic familial experiences. You see this in my movie Hereditary, where the brother accidentally kills his sister. You see it in Midsommar, when the sister kills herself and her parents. And you see it in The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, where the son sexually abuses his father. As it was once stated, horror is about seeing your life through the lens of anxiety. It doesn't have to jump scare you. Sometimes the idea of knowing there's a monster lurking underneath your bed is more frightening than the monster itself. The uneasiness is enough to increase your adrenaline, to make the story worth reading or watching. That's the type of film I make. The monsters in this sense being your very own family. The second tenet I include in all of my movies are cathartic endings. Cathartic meaning providing psychological relief through the open expression of strong emotions, causing catharsis. In Midsommar, you see that Dani finally finds emotional relief. As an orphan, she at last has a family. And in The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, Joan finally confronts her son, resulting in her murdering him. Sidney gets justice even after having died being hit by a car trying to escape. In Hereditary, Joan achieves her goal of giving Peter's body to a no-host, Charlie and the King Feynman, and Charlie gets to experience time with her grandmother again. Third tenet that I include in all my movies is female success and dominance. In each of these films, the females, quote-unquote, win. In Midsommar, Dani is the last standing in the group. Everyone else was murdered. Along with becoming the May Queen, she achieves a family while her boyfriend is sacrificed and murdered. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, Joan, despite having ignored the abuse her husband endured in the beginning, she was the one to end her son's life and put a stop to his actions. And in Hereditary, Joan was able to, while not being alive, take over her grandson's body, whilst ending the lives of those who surrounded him, resulting in her granddaughter taking over his body. Next is nudity and implied nudity. In Midsommar, nudity is often seen in this film, especially when Christian, unable to physically stop himself, and Maja have intercourse. We see the two of them nude, along with multiple women surrounding them nude. Strange Thing About the Johnsons, we see Isaiah grasping his father's behind and preparing to give oral sex to his father. His father is also seen taking a bath when Isaiah breaks through the door. And in Hereditary, much like Midsommar, we see naked older people several times, but especially in one of the final scenes where Charlie and Peter's body enters the treehouse, finding multiple nude devil worshippers. The next in it is quote-unquote happy relationship. In Midsommar, Dani assumes that her and Christian are happily together. However, Christian tells his friends that he is tired of her and her emotional baggage. In The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, Joan and Sidney are happily married throughout the film. However, Joan knows Sidney is being abused and does nothing to help him. In Hereditary, Annie and Steve begin as a happily married couple, but Steve slowly loses patience for Annie's mental breaks, and Annie is too concerned with other things to solve the issue. Next is bystander syndrome. In Midsommar, Dani, Christian, Pele, and the rest of the group watched horrible things happen, like suicide, and did nothing to stop it. Although some tried to leave, none of them tried to help the others. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, Joan witnessed the abuse her husband endured from her son and did not confront her son until it was too late. In Hereditary, Steve saw the horrible things happening to his wife and son, but refused to believe the situation and help. Next is the big bad. In Midsommar, Pele disguised himself as innocent and from Sweden, wanting to take his friends back home. He was secretly luring them to their death. The strange thing about the Johnsons, Isaiah, the perfect son of a perfect family, sexually abuses his father. Hereditary, Joan, Ellen, and Feynman were guiding people to their deaths in order to take over Peter's body. Next is adult fear. In Midsummer, Dani falls apart over the murders and suicide her sister committed during a depressive episode, feeling as though she could have prevented it. In The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, Sidney fears the very thing he created. In Hereditary, Annie saw her own daughter decapitated in the backseat of her car. Next is death by fire. Midsummer, Christian dies being sacrificed in a burning building. In The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, Isaiah attempts to murder his mother by pushing her into a fireplace. And in Hereditary, Steve dies by fire when the book is thrown into the fireplace. Finally is abusive family members. In Midsummer, Dani's sister emotionally abuses her family, ultimately murdering her parents and herself. The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, Isaiah sexually abuses his father. And in Hereditary, Peter's mother emotionally abuses him, along with having a past with dreaming of physical abuse towards him and his sister.